Welcome back. Well, school sports has served the country well over years by producing quality athletes. However, good programs have borne the brunt of recent hard times, with funds being redirected to other projects. Football schools like the School of Excellence is, for example, battling for survival, while rugby feeder Craven Week, which long-serviced South African rugby, is hanging by a thread. To talk about this and more, we have in studio Lerato Matshai, teacher and manager at Clapham High School, and via Zoom we have SA School's rugby chairperson, Noel Ingle. Good evening to you both and welcome to Sports Live. Let's start with you, Sis Lerato. There's a call recently that that schools should run development programs for soccer, much like they do in cricket and rugby. Do you think schools can handle that kind of a burden?
It depends. I think in most cases, what I have seen is funding and time. The schools that don't think that sports should be put ahead of academics. So I think the department wanting sports to be put in the fore, it becomes difficult for certain schools, especially where there's lack of resources. So I think the burden in that case, it would be around the facilities that are not available or that are not well maintained, or lack of personnel, if I can put it that way, like coaches and managers or people that have the expertise. But at the moment, that is how far, or rather, I would say the hurdle is, or the speed hump, if I can put it that way.
How have you managed to, at Clapham, to be able to do that, though?
I think the support of management and the SGB, and I'm not sure if it's okay to say it on this platform, but our partnership with Sundowns as well has helped us.
You are more than welcome to talk about Sundowns.
Yes, it has helped us so much because for me, for instance, when I started teaching, I wasn't really interested in football, managing any team or anything like that. But through exposure, I started to like the sport, but more of the administration side of it. I don't like coaching. I don't know how to coach to save my life. But in terms of getting skills, how to manage a team, how to coordinate the sport itself, exposure to learners, that has played a role. Like Sundowns has played a vital role, and also the school management allowing us to grow as well, taking us for courses, management courses, teaching us while we are moving in not so many words. So I think that's how I have survived over the past 10 years, what I've learned over the past 10 years, and I'm still learning. I mean, I want to see myself up there, but...
Yes, so while you're on that, I'm going to go to Noel quick in just a second, but while you're on that, about the partnership with Sundowns and how it's worked for you guys over the years, so are you saying, who pays them? Because do you guys then get ex-coaches to coach these players? What's that? Expand on that relationship.
Okay, the structure in our school is that the partnership with Sundowns, they deal only with the academic, or rather the academy players. And then there's also coaches that are school-based, that are teachers. Like, for instance, our deputy principal is one of our coaches, for example, and one of our English teachers is also a coach. Like I said, I'm not really interested in coaching, so I'm more into administration. But there's roles for everyone. It's not just Sundowns that's playing a vital role, but also the school teachers that are involved in the coaching.
Noel, let's bring you in now. It's almost Craven Week time, which is a competition, as I mentioned in my intro, that has long served SA Rugby. It's produced one of the best, probably the biggest feeder for South African rugby. But now with the reshuffling of resources, we're hearing that SA Rugby, there's sort of financial burdens there on the parents. Are you able to explain that? What this direction is all about and how much it's going to put on burden is going to put on those parents to play such tournaments?
Hello, thank you. First of all, thanks, Kate. Good evening to your viewers. Yes, it is. It's always a challenge. It's always been a challenge to get children to these weeks. And with rising costs, transport, etc., it's increased that challenge. All of the partners within this area, SA schools, the federations, the government themselves, the schools, and parents. And we've now brought on private sponsors as well. We've all got to work together to ensure that this happens. To cut off this channel would be devastating for the country, quite frankly, for the rugby programs in the country. And so we've just got to make it work. This has specifically been a very challenging year. We've come from COVID. So there are definite budget challenges above us. When I say above us, I mean within our federations and SA Rugby itself. But we are working to solve this. We are definitely hoping that 2024, with a sponsor that has come on board, I think it has already been announced by South African Rugby Stadio, so I can say that. And hopefully that is going to lighten the burden of our players to attend the weeks, because it's critical. It just has to happen. It cannot not happen.
Yeah, are you able to share what they'll be bringing onto the table?
I'm not at the moment, no, because I do know that that's still in negotiation. But I do know that they have come with money this year, and that they will certainly be investing in us for the next 3 years, post 23. Yes, so we're hoping that that will be exciting, and that will assist across all our youth tournaments, including our girls, which is a critical part of our program.
Yeah, part of that conversation, Sis Lerato, is sometimes at your school, for example, a government, going back to having these schools shoulder the burden of school sports and development in the country. Sometimes government will build these facilities, but you have to maintain them. How much is that costing you?
Overhead, I'm not really sure in our institution as to how much it actually costs, but I mean...
But you just build the facilities and then just go and say you are in charge, do whatever you must.
If we look at our school, it's a former Model C school, it's a Quintile 5 school, so it has those facilities, but the maintenance becomes a bit of a problem because, for example, if you want to construct in a public school, you have to apply for permission for the maintenance. Yeah. And in a school that is on the level that is on, it is our responsibility to maintain those facilities. But then financial burdens within the school also puts a little bit of a strain. So we have to look which ones do we prioritize at the moment. But I think we're doing fairly well. We are very fortunate, I must add, very fortunate with our partnership. Because, I mean, if we didn't have the partnership with Sundowns, then our facilities, especially our football fields, wouldn't be up to scratch, if I can put it that way. So in terms of financing other schools, for example, money is needed. Yeah. We can't put it any other way. I don't think we can sugarcoat it, because with good facilities and access to those facilities, it helps to promote the sports or the sporting codes. So...
Yes, absolutely. Everything does cost money. Noel, maybe you're in a better position to answer this. With government coming onto schools to just build facilities, then the maintenance then falls onto these schools.
Yeah, if you look at the input from schools, and when we say schools, I think we should really be saying parents, because it's them to a large degree that are funding our sporting programs, them and individual sponsors, private sponsors that parents or SGBs have secured. I think the rugby programs run into the hundreds of millions of rand. That is the worth, that is the contribution that schools, via their parents and sponsors, are putting into youth, into the youth of our country, and it's absolutely brilliant. I don't say that rugby is alone in this. I think it's across the board with most of the sports. And then what you've also got, you've got this huge band of volunteers, and that's teachers, your teachers and other volunteers that are carrying sport in the country. Definitely from a rugby perspective, which I can talk confidently about, but I am also a headmaster, so I know that that's across the board with all sports.
Yeah, but let's continue with that conversation about the burden of finances in terms of schools development. But because, for example, to meet certain transformation targets in this country and also to attract the best talent in this country, a number of these schools must go to perhaps previously disadvantaged background, communities where they must provide a sponsorship, a scholarship for a young Siya Kolisi, Andile Phehlukwayo in the case of cricket, for example. What sort of cost are we looking at for that, for just one player?
I think if you look at it, well, it depends upon the institution that they go to, but you'd be looking at full school fees and you'd be looking at full accommodation. So it's nothing under 200,000 Rand a year, and it depends upon the school. If you're talking about private schools, and you're talking about significantly more money that has been spent. But yes, it is about giving opportunities, and you can see the opportunities that have been given, and that some of them that have been taken with both hands, and really the countries reap the rewards of that. So those programs must continue. I certainly support them, and I do hope that they continue. I think it's also, rugby from the school-based side is largely, to a degree, it is amateur, and it's run by us, people who are employed at the school. And I think we definitely need to look to our partners of SA Rugby, our federations, private sponsors, the Department of Sport and Recreation, and parents who make a huge contribution to ensure that these programs continue and sport continues. Remember, sport complements academics, so this is not just egos, it's actually critical for the development of the child, and that's important. And we've seen what sport has done in this country of ours. It's brilliant, and long may it continue to do so.
Well, unfortunately, I have so many other questions that I've lined up for you both, but unfortunately we ran out of time, and that's where we're going to leave with this conversation now. Via Zoom, SA Schools Rugby Chairperson Noel Ingle, as well as Lerato Matshai from Clapham High School here in Johannesburg, in Gauteng, I should say, chatting about all the challenges that we face as a country in terms of continuing this well that has served South Africa for so long, which is school sports, unfortunately is under threat due to the recent financial troubles in the country.